On an earlier episode of Always Wondered, we brought up the question of why clocks run clockwise. I mean, if they ran in the other direction, then that would be clockwise. Well, the answer has to do with geography. Long before smartwatches, sundials were being used to track time in the ancient regions of the Middle East. And being in the northern hemisphere, the sun's shadow moved around the dial from left to right in a sweeping circle we now call clockwise. So when mechanical clocks were invented centuries later, they kept that same movement.
But wait, in the southern hemisphere, wouldn't the sun's shadow move in the opposite direction?
That's right.
So if sundials were first used south of the equator, then
Everything probably would have been different, yeah.
I'm telling you, mate, if clocks were invented down under, time would run backwards. Maps would be upside down.
Wait.
And everyone would be eating Vegemite sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm not sure about any of that.
Don't knock it, mate, till you give it a go.
Well, no matter which direction your clocks run, synchronize your sundials because it is time for another episode. So welcome to the podcast that answers some of the questions you've always wondered about.
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a question that humans have had for ages.
is spaghetti technically just really long rice?
No.
Oh, so then what's the question?
Have you always wondered why we dream? Yes, dreams. The nightly films in our heads, starring us, written by us, but somehow directed by a caffeinated squirrel.
No time for logic, people. Give me lots of flying elephants. I want the dolphins in business suits. And let's put Abe Lincoln in a tutu for the big tap dance scene.
Scientists have long been arguing about why we dream, like two roommates arguing over who left out the empty pizza box.
Not me!
Not me.
Now, some say it's a way of filing away memories, like hitting Save As on the world's weirdest hard drive. Others say dreams help us rehearse survival techniques, practicing for real-world threats.
Oh no, a bear! Wait, I know what I'll do. I'll fly away.
Yeah, something like that. Sigmund Freud believed they were about wish fulfillment.
Ah, you dream of flying through the clouds. Clearly, you wish to be a pigeon.
I'm not so sure about that.
Better to be the pigeon than the statue.
Well, that's true. And dreams may also help with creativity. Paul McCartney famously dreamt the melody for Yesterday. Mary Shelley dreamt up Frankenstein. And you? You probably dream about, showing up naked for English class.
Well, that is certainly a dangling participle.
In the end, no one is quite sure why we dream. It could be housekeeping, practice, emotional processing, creativity, and maybe it's just pure chaos. Kind of like the internet, only with less pop-up ads and more roller skating ducks. So the next time you wake up from a dream about being in a marathon, running in a field of jello, while being chased by a mariachi band, just remember, it's not nonsense.
It's science-y nonsense.
The Always Wondered podcast.
Throughout history, man has created new and better ways to communicate. From the written word, to audio and video, and to the digital communication of today. Each invention was a dramatic step forward. So have you always wondered, what were the first words said the moment they gave us new ways to talk to the world? Surely they were monumental and inspiring, right? Now, spoiler alert, don't get your hopes up. We start with humanity's first written words, etched 5,000 years ago onto clay tablets in Mesopotamia. And what did they say? Some profound statement about existence? A deep philosophical truth?
Here's your receipt for sheep.
Yeah, it was basically an inventory of livestock and goods. It also served as the invention of paperwork, mankind's greatest curse. Okay, let's move ahead to the 1870s. Thomas Edison, with the first recorded spoken words on a phonograph.
Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow.
Again, what's the deal with humans and farm animals? Now, around the same time, Alexander Graham Bell invents the telephone. He connects with his assistant, Thomas Watson, and says,
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
Translation, the very first phone call was a man asking for tech support, a tradition that continues to this day. All right, let's move ahead to radio. Commercial broadcasting wouldn't start for a while, but in 1900, Reginald Fessenden was testing his transmitter in Massachusetts, broadcasting to his assistant, Alfred Thiessen, about a mile away. The receiver crackled to life, as Fessenden said,
Is it snowing where you are, Mr. Thiessen?
Okay, maybe he didn't understand how radio works. The broadcaster gives the weather report to the listener, and not the other way around. But what about television? Finally, audio and video together beamed directly into our homes. In the late 1920s in England, BBC TV engineer James McKeon, in a test transmission, immortally utters
12.
In case you missed that, let's hear it again.
12.
Yeah, apparently he was looking at a clock. All right, enough with analog. Maybe digital can save us. The year was 1969. Testing was underway on the early internet when a UCLA programmer types
Low.
Yeah, L-O. I guess he was trying to type login, but the whole thing crashed and he only got out the L and the O. The irony is, had he managed to type LOL, it pretty much would have predicted most of the internet content that would soon follow. So there you have it, the very first words in history's great leaps forward. Not wisdom, not poetry, it was receipts, nursery rhymes, and test messages, which just proves the very first thing humans say is never
Eureka!
It's usually,
Is this thing on?
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
okay, your mother calls.
Hello, sweetie. I'm just calling to check in.
Now you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And
So when are you giving me grandchildren?
your boss calls you into his office.
Come on in. Close the door, will you?
Now you're sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Turns out we're going in a different direction.
Your cousin shows up unannounced at your doorstep.
Hey, cuz, thought I'd drop in and see you.
Now you're standing there waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Help me move in my futon, will you?
You know what it's like, waiting for the inevitable, especially when you know it might not be pleasant. But have you always wondered the origin of the phrase, waiting for the other shoe to drop? Well, the saying comes from the early 1900s in New York City. Picture it, apartments packed tighter than a size 12 foot in a size 9 shoe. Thin walls and even thinner ceilings. Late at night, you could hear your upstairs neighbor come home. They drop one shoe to the floor, and now you brace for impact. Yep, there's the second shoe. Over time, the phrase escaped the tenements and became the metaphor for anticipating the unavoidable.
Kind of like the original Netflix cliffhanger?
Exactly. So the next time you're left waiting for bad news, just tell yourself you're part of a long tradition of inconsiderate neighbors and the eternal thump of footwear through history. And remember, it could be worse. You could be waiting for the other bowling ball to drop.
The Always Wondered podcast.
Well, that is going to wrap up this episode. Remember, you can find cool little videos of some of our subject matter on both TikTok and YouTube. And if you have any trouble tracking them down, just look for Always Wondered Podcast on Facebook, and there you'll find a list of our links. And if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe or follow, and another episode will magically appear in your feed, much like a raccoon in your garbage can at midnight. Only with less to clean up. As always, we leave you with one to ponder. Have you always wondered, why do we call it after dark when it's actually after light? Yeah, I don't know either. So until next time, stay curious and keep wondering. I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for listening.
The Always Wondered podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. Feel free to offer suggestions for future topics or simply reach out to alwayswonderedpodcast@gmail.com.